All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a really powerful cognitive bias that drives so much of consumer behavior: hyperbolic discounting. We're going to break this down from a top tier consultant's perspective, focusing purely on strategy and application.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the definition, get the fundamentals right. Then we'll look at the high level strategy, the specific tactics, and then wrap it all up with a real world example that puts everything into perspective.
Okay, first up, section 1. We need to get on the same page about what this bias actually is, this fundamental and very human preference for now.
So here it is, plain and simple. We are fundamentally wired to value the present far, far more than the future. You see, the perceived value of a future reward doesn't just decrease over time, it pretty much drops off a cliff the longer we have to wait for it.
And look, this isn't some newfangled marketing trick. Its roots are deep in behavioral psychology, first observed way back in the 60s by Richard Herrnstein, and later formalized by the economist David Leibson. This gives us a really solid academic foundation to build our strategies on.
Right. Section 2, the strategic view. Now for the fun part. How do we take this quirk of human psychology and turn it into a seriously powerful strategic lever? Let's put on our consultant hats.
This right here, this is the absolute core mindset shift. You have to stop thinking of value as a fixed static number. It's not. Value is fluid, and its primary variable is time. Your job as a strategist is to manipulate the perception of time to jack up the perceived value of your offer right now. And this slide, this just lays out the challenge perfectly. Imagine every customer is below this invisible action line. To get them to cross it, you have to do two things at the exact same time. You have to crank up their emotional motivation for that immediate reward, and you have to drastically, almost ruthlessly, reduce the effort required to get it.
So you might be wondering, how is this actually done? How do you build systems that tap into this bias? Well, let's break down the tactical architecture that engineers that incredible feeling of now.
You have to get this quote from Brian Tracy. It is the key to everything we're talking about. We are not targeting the rational, analytical part of the brain that's weighing long-term pros and cons. No way. We're aiming directly at the primal, emotional brain that runs on instinct and immediate feeling. The logic? Oh, that just comes later, purely to justify the emotional decision that's already been made.
Now, this slide shows a killer technique called temporal reframing. Look at the left side. 12,000 rupees. That feels like a big hit. It's logical, but it's painful. Now look at the right. That exact same cost is reframed as just 33 a day, less than a cup of coffee. It completely transforms a large future pain into a tiny, almost unnoticeable present cost. Suddenly, the purchase feels easy. And the results of these kinds of tactics, they're staggering. A full 70% of high-end electronics in some markets are bought using buy now, pay later schemes. This is driven by something we call possession utility. The simple idea that the value we get from having something right now is an incredibly powerful motivator all on its own.
This is that principle in action. The second someone has a product in their hands, another bias called the endowment effect kicks in. That's our tendency to overvalue things we own. That immediate joy of holding that new gadget becomes so powerful, it completely overshadows the abstract, far-off pain of future payments.
Okay, so we've got the theory down. We get the what and the why. Now let's get super tactical. Let's look at a clear matrix and a step-by-step process for putting all this into practice. This matrix just lays it all out beautifully. You've got 4 key strategies. Instant access pulls the sensation lever, that immediate reward. Buy now, pay later pulls the discounting lever, minimizing that future pain. Limited time offers create urgency, pushing a decision now. And trial periods, they establish possession. Each one of these is a distinct tool designed to pull a very specific psychological lever. And here it is, a super clear 4-step process you can apply. First, lead with that aha moment. Deliver value immediately. Second, frame the choice not as what they'll gain in the future, but as what they're losing right now by not acting. Third, keep them engaged with small, instant rewards along the way. And finally, make the action itself ridiculously simple. Think one-click simple. But a word of warning, and this is really important. These tactics are powerful, and if you misuse them, you can destroy trust and have it backfire spectacularly. So let's cover the critical mistakes you absolutely must avoid. It is so easy to get this wrong.
First, the credibility trap. Using fake scarcity, like a countdown timer that just resets every time you visit the page. Customers aren't dumb. They'll see right through it, and your brand's integrity is shot. Second, if you only focus on that impulse buy, you forget to build long-term trust, and you end up with unhappy customers who leave. And finally, the profitability gap. If you discount way too much just to get that quick yes, you won't have a sustainable business.
All right, let's pull all these threads together with a perfect real-world example we have all experienced, the streaming service free trial. This is an absolute masterclass in execution. It all starts with a powerful trigger. You see an ad for that new show everyone's talking about. The offer of an instant free trial gives you an immediate emotional reward. The sensation of entertainment is just a click away, and it totally bypasses any rational thought about monthly fees.
Next, they make the action incredibly easy. It's a one-click setup, maybe using your existing Google or Apple account. All friction is eliminated. Your motivation doesn't get burned out on some complicated sign-up form. They just shove you right over that action line before you can even have a second thought. And this is the hook. It's brilliant, really. For those 7 days, you're heavily discounting the idea of a future monthly fee. But more importantly, the endowment effect is settling in. The service is now part of your routine. So by day 7, the whole psychology has flipped. You are no longer thinking about paying to gain a service. You're now paying to avoid the loss of something you feel you already own.
But at the end of the day, while all of these behavioral tactics are incredibly powerful tools for influencing action, this quote from Stephen Covey reminds us of the foundation. They have to be built on a bedrock of genuine value and trust, because without that, any short-term gains you make will eventually and inevitably collapse into dust.